You look great. You
Thank
look like
you.
$1 million. You don't look tired, and I would have thought you did because you went on a vacation with your family.
Yes, yes, I did.
And you have a couple of older kids. And you got a 10-month-old.
I do, yes.
And you took your 10-month-old to the Bahamas. How was your first trip with the 10-month-old?
You know what? It was great.
Okay, good.
I got a good 10-month-old.
Yeah.
He's like a 10-month-old, but he's like 30. Like
That's good.
Yeah, he's very, very relaxed. Like he's extremely mature. He can chill. He can just watch TV, but he'll change and just look at you for a while. There's some times where you gotta pluck him, make sure he's alive.
That's the one downside of a chill baby.
Hey man, are you breathing, man? He'll just sit with his mouth open, but he's amazing, man.
Here you are with your family, and I want to. First of all, I should know you went. There's a beach that has
yeah,
pigs
yeah.
on it.
Pig Island.
Pig Island.
Pig Island, yes.
So there you are with some pigs, but and that's fascinating. But what's more fascinating is it fair to say that your entire family is wearing the same pattern
100%.
swimsuit? Okay.
100%.
Gotcha. And was that an accident or on purpose?
No, it's because I'm black. That's what we do. Black people, we like to match. It's a thing. We go overboard with matching. I am that dad.
Congratulations on Night School. This is a really funny film, and this is based on some degree on your own experiences.
Yes,
yeah?
100%. It's based on second chances. That's what the whole purpose behind the movie is. You know, I think so many people frown on second chances. You know, when you don't get something right the first time, ultimately you're down and you feel like, I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna go in another direction. It's over. Well, this is a movie that shows that it's okay to go back the second time and give it your all and take the things that you didn't do right the first time, apply it to that second time, and come out better. And sometimes it takes the third and fourth time.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this is about. So I'm a victim of not getting it right the first time.
You've got a great cast, Tiffany Haddish, Taron Killam.
Yes.
You also, I know in the prep for this, you got to, you were a principal for a day in Dallas.
Yes.
You gave sort of a TED Talk of sorts to kids in Atlanta. What do you try to impart upon students?
Well, the first thing is rules.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I got to be principal for a day, I felt it was very important to make my presence felt. You know, I'm a big fan of Joe Clark on Lean On Me. That's right. Those are people
Some
that
Joe
know.
Clark fans.
That's right. Joe Clark, he's a real deal. You smoke crack, don't you? That's one of the best lines. But I said, you know, I wanted to change some things. So the first thing I did was I said, we're going to have chicken nuggets every day.
Yeah, that's good.
Because
No one's going to fight you on that.
I like nuggets. That was a great rule. I took all the toilet paper out the bathrooms, replaced it with baby wipes. I said, it's important that we all wipe our asses properly.
Okay.
You know, that's something I did.
Especially after like nuggets every
after
day.
nuggets, you're gonna need it. Yeah. You get it. You get where I'm going. And I was on a roll. And then the real principal came and he was like, this has to stop. He took my bullhorn away. And then I gave actually a real speech. You know, I told the kids, I said it's very important to embrace this moment and really understand what teachers are. I now, at the age 39, understand the importance and value behind these teachers. You know, teachers are investing time, energy into these kids because they feel like the kids are our next generation's leaders and groundbreakers. And I said, your biggest reward to them is by doing something with your life. Take advantage of this time and really apply yourself. And, you know, it was good. It was good because they related, they responded, they identified with what I was saying because it was coming from me.
It's a fantastic message to give them. I also, another thing that's interesting is, you know, I think people look at you and they think, oh my God, you're so successful, everything you do is successful, but you have also had films that did not particularly work. You were in a film, Soul Plane. Soul Plane was not a huge box office success, but you have a theory as to what went wrong here, and your theory is based on.
They got bootlegged. My movie was bootlegged before it came out. Do you know the background of Soul Plane?
I don't know.
Let me educate you. So Soul Plane was supposed to be the one that was going to take me out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's about to go down. Okay, here it comes. Somebody give me the money train, because after this movie, it's gonna happen.
Gotcha.
I'm at the airport. We're still filming the movie, actually. We're doing reshoots. And a guy comes up to me. He's like, oh my God, you the guy from Soul Plane. And I'm like, hey, how you doing, man? He's like, man, the movie's funny. And I was like, well, you gonna really think it's funny when it come out. He's like, no, it's out. I saw it. And I was like, No, you didn't. You couldn't have seen it because we're still shooting it. We're actually shooting it right now. He's like, no, I saw it. I can tell you everything that happened in the movie. And he starts telling me all the scenes in the movie. He was like, dude, would you mind signing it for me? And I said, signing what? he pulls the bootleg out of his bag, and he's like, sign it. And I had no choice. I had to sign it because it's the first autograph I've ever really given.
Yeah.
So I was excited. And I immediately like called the director, and I was like, hey, man, the guy just told me he had the bootleg. And he's like, no way. Before we knew it, in like a month, I was the biggest thing on the streets. Everybody had this movie. And the movie, the date that it was supposed to come out, we had to push it up like a month because they was like, we gotta just get it out. So we were trying to lie. We were like, there's new scenes that you haven't seen in the bootleg. Like, oh, you think you've seen it? Well, wait till you see the new stuff.
So your release was effectively like, we're re-releasing Soul Plane.
We had to re-release based off the bootleg. We were like, we know you think you know the end, but look at what we just added. So we like cutting together trailers that aren't even in the movie. It's like me fighting somebody in karate. Like, It's like, wait till you see this new action scene in Soul Plane. And the movie ended up being the biggest hit on the streets, but one of the biggest flops in the box office. But there's a positive in every negative. The positive is that's how the following for me in comedy started. I was able to go to comedy clubs, and they were like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy from Soul Plane for a long time.
Hey, thanks so much for being here.